Alrighty, lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging, because that is who we are, and that is what we're doing. Last time we played, we had just cleaned up a whole bunch of the long logs from that other side. I think if I remember, we might have done a load of shorts. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, I can't remember. So what I'm going to do today is we're actually going to hike this loader over here. We got all these shorts laying all over the place, so we're just going to kind of sort it out into a nicer pile. We were talking about, well, we were earlier using the forwarder to move all that wood out of there, but today we are going to sort it all out so that it's sitting in a good position, and that's kind of the name of the game. Because you get in a better, the better you got the spot, the easier it's going to be to load it. And I kind of got it thrown all over the place from where we processed it. Now we still got some wood right up there where I'm pointing my grapple that needs to come down. Those 3 piles, I think. So we're going to use this line skidder and we're going to drag all that down and process it. But for the time being, we need to get this landing figured out here. And as you can see, it's a little rickety. It's kind of all over the place, this landing. It's we got piles kind of all over the place. Oh, it's very steep here too. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to pile all this wood kind of along this side here. I'm going to start with this little pile, and then what I'll do is I'll actually back the truck right in here, and I'll just load it, side load it. This pile right here might be a good starting spot. I don't even know if I have to move it far. Let's see here. So if we look at it in terms of where we can get that truck, I mean, technically we can back that truck right in alongside us here. I mean, even if we have to drive it into the dip a little bit, it'll come up on that other edge. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to grab this stuff here, and we'll just kind of huck it over in this direction. And I'll just pile it right here against this little berm. We'll see how much we can get out of this spot. Because that way, like I said, it's right here next to us, so we can bring that truck in nice and close, and we can just load it right up in one shot. We'll see how high we can go here. I don't want to go over the berm because then the wood's going to start rolling down the other side of the hill and we'll never see it again, which is not ideal. So topics. I don't really have any topics. I did have an interesting comment, which I could absolutely kind of touch down on a little bit. So I had a comment, and I think I may have gone over it in our Log and Talk series or maybe in previous series, but the question was, somebody said, because I mention all the time that I do the modding and I also have a lot of jobs, so I don't have a lot of spare time. I'm always work, go. So the person asked, they said, with all the modding time that you do and all of the jobs, do I ever get burnt out from it? Do I ever tired out? I think burnt out is what he said. Do I ever get burnt out? So, yes and no, I guess. I absolutely have periods where I feel as though it's a little too much going on, like a little overwhelmed at times for sure. It's, especially when it comes to like working my jobs and then trying to balance out the working of the jobs with modding, and I have sponsors. For logging now, and they provide me with lots of things that they want done, and sometimes I absolutely feel like I have bitten off way more than I can chew in terms of projects and things that I want to get done. So I absolutely have those moments where I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to get all this done? Luckily for me, like I said, this is not a job. Most of the sponsors I work with they're not setting timelines for when they want stuff done. They're not saying, Jordan, this needs to be out by this date, or we're pulling our support. There's nothing like that. Everybody's really good in terms of sponsorship. I definitely hold myself to a higher standard in terms of trying to get stuff done on a decent timeline, because I don't like having projects build up and, I'm not the kind of person to procrastinate anything ever. I like to get it done and done now if I can. So, yeah, I definitely push myself pretty hard to make sure we get all the things done that I want done. And at times, yeah, it's sometimes you get days. I mean, you guys all experience this working in your daily lives as well, where sometimes my other jobs are just happen to line up where things are not going well at either one of them at the same time. And then you got modding stuff on the roll, and you got work stress going on. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not some superhuman. I have tendencies of getting burnt out and frustrated with lots of things as well. It's the joys of being human. If they ever make a chip that I can insert in my head that turns all that worry and stress off, I will absolutely stick that in there for sure. But you know, I try to look at the greater good of things whenever I can. I try to look at I reevaluate a lot of the time, and I go, okay, what am I doing? What is it that I'm doing that's causing stress? First of all, you know, is it a financial reason? It used to be financial reasons back when I had debts and stuff like that. That is no longer the case. So I tend to try to look more towards, like, what am I doing right now that's positive, like that's causing me to be happy, and then I look at things that are causing me to not be happy, and I realize it's impossible to always be happy. You're never going to just have everything work out all the time. That's just not how it goes, right? But I try to look at how often am I having these moments of stress? How often am I having these moments where I feel like, you know, you're kind of cornered with a situation, or you're, you know, falling behind, or whatever the case. And I go, okay, how often does that happen with the scheduling and the stuff I have right now? Is it not very often? And if it isn't very often, then that's not a big deal. I can work through a couple of hard times and keep going, right? Now, if this is a daily exercise for me where I'm constantly in a state of stress over, you know, work-related problems, or, you know, even if it was, I mean, I don't really get that from mod-related stuff. It's mostly work stuff. But if I ever had that from mod-related stuff, I would look at it, and you really do have to kind of self-evaluate, and you got to kind of look at it and go, is this something that I want to continue doing? I've done that with lots of jobs in the past where I would dread every single day going to work because it was so darn stressful. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I made that evaluation and that decision to change the type of work I was doing. So, yes, to the person, a long answer short, to the person that was asking, yes, I absolutely do get moments of burnout and moments of stress, just like every other human. I am not an alien as far as I've been told by my parents and the BC Medical. I have not been abducted and changed into some kind of strange superhuman that feels nothing. Although some days that sounds really good. So if there's aliens out there listening that want to abduct me and take over my brain and make me not feel anything, that's okay. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. But grand story short, yes, I do get burnout, and I try to look at the positives. If I'm doing something, even in modding, that I find to be more work than fun, I generally will shut that down. I don't really care how people feel about it. Whether it was sponsor related or logging fan related, I would shut it down if it was causing me too much stress or issues, because I would rather any day of the week enjoy doing what I'm doing than turn it into a job, especially in terms of this logging related stuff. So I'm gonna try to bring this in right here. Ooh, that's kind of close. I don't really want it that close, but maybe we'll bring it forward a bit because I want to be able to get both bunks if I can. All right, we'll give that a shot. That's kind of a really rough loading spot, but I think we might be able to get this wood on there. Yeah, let's turn our little light on here too to give us a little bit more hope. So that's the middle of our bunk there, and that's the middle of our bunk there. So yeah, I should be able to grab her here. I can't remember what size we cut. I think these are 7s, 6s or 7s. We'll probably be able to tell once we get a couple scoops in the bunk here. That's a half decent little grab there. So middle of our bunk is about here. Yeah, I'd say these are 7s, maybe 6s, 7s, something along those lines. So yeah, I think it's kind of a weird category. I think if I did modding full time, I would get burnt out from that too. Sometimes it is fantastic to just worry about the jobs, like my regular day jobs, and not get a break from modding, because this can get pretty monotonous too if you're just spending hours in Blender and coding, and like the end result is amazing, and I do love that. I still get a huge joy out of it when I see the end result that something I've put together actually worked out well. But my jobs are kind of like almost like a break from modding, because I'm forced to go do something else, and it gives me kind of a little bit of an escape from modding for a bit. And a lot of the time, it's a great time of reflection when you're doing other stuff. Because, I mean, I can't count how many times I've been at a job site doing something, and then I just had this eureka moment where something pops into my head, and I'm like, oh my god, it's that simple. And then I go home in a big rush after work, and I try it, and sure enough, it was just like something unlocked that key ingredient in my brain, whether it was like an interaction or a thing I was doing at work, something with a physics, or like, who knows, right? What triggers it and gets it going. But I thought it was pretty neat, and it was pretty neat to have those experiences. And I think it's important to have, like I said, that work separation from your hobbies to inspire you and maybe unlock some creative potential that you're not seeing. That's a little deep, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm sure there's other artists that are in that same tendency. Because some people always say, like, oh, why don't you just be a full-time modder and do that full-time? And I'm like, well, that'd be fantastic if there was the financial security in that. But unfortunately, it's not a very financial secure world doing this type of stuff. So it's almost better to have what I have now. I think it's working out really good. And like I said, I get a good balance of away from work and away from modding that it makes it fun for both worlds. So, but yes, you do get burnt out. You got to be careful not to overdo it. I have overdone it lots in the past with both jobs and with trying to fight with modding. Like I said, I do have sponsors. Like I said, even all the ones listed on the FDR Logging website that have things they want me to do. They want me to work with them to bring their products into the game and, try to create that experience even for themselves by using their equipment in their own little simulation programs and such. And I love doing it. I think it's super fun. But I do have to watch the balance of what I'm doing. I don't want to commit myself to too much while I'm also working in my personal life, because you can't really do that. But like I said, I do have moments where I am very much a yes man. I'll say yes to a lot of stuff, sometimes not really thinking about the level of work it's going to be. I just really want to try stuff. I like when a person comes up to me and says, Jordan, we have this product, like a sponsor or even a new company. They say, we have this product, we want to put it into Farming Simulator. How are we going to do it? Show us, or do you think it's possible? And my first response to every single one of them is always like, well, I can give it a try. I can't guarantee a perfect result, but I can absolutely give it a shot and give it my best shot at it. And like I said, sometimes I've been doing this for so long now, especially with the logging side, that when someone comes to me with an idea, I've experimented so much and I've done so many different things with these mods that I'm like, when someone comes to me with an idea or a concept, especially a bigger company, I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, either like I've done it before and it didn't work, or I've done it before and it kind of worked and I think I might be able to. So if it's one of those scenarios, then I do try to pull it off if I can. But I've definitely had some where I've been like, yeah, sorry, man, I can't do that. Like, I would love to do that, but this game has its limitations, right? But we do have lots of stuff coming down the pipe over the next while. Even by the time you guys see this video, which may be several weeks after I recorded it, who knows? There is a lot of stuff coming in FS25 and new challenges for myself, like extremely interesting challenges, creating stuff that I don't even know if I can do it. But I made that pretty blatantly clear even to the sponsors asking me. I said, I don't know if I can do it, but I sure as heck will give it my best shot, and see if I can do it. Whoop. Let's see if I can wiggle this guy down here. There we go. Actually, I might be able to add that one to my pile here. Whoop. There we go. That's pretty smooth, eh? Huh? Turned out pretty good on that one. I'm going to sprinkle maybe some in here. Actually, I might be able to get all of them in this run. Maybe. Let's see. I was gonna fall in there all nice. That's not terrible, I guess. There we go. Beauty. Perfect. All right. Let's park this here. We're gonna have to skid that wood down that hill if we want to process it. I could try to crawl up here and deck it, but it's kind of on a crappy hill. Nah, it's better to skid that down to a flatter spot, like right next to this processor to begin. I'm gonna turn that light off too. All right, so that wasn't too bad. It's not like a beautiful, perfect load by any means, but the sticks went on, and they're staying on. So let's see if we can get this truck out of here now, because we kind of left it in a bad spot. Luckily, the FDR logging versions of these trucks have so much torque, I don't think you're ever going to have a spin out. But we'll see when we move over to FS25 if they've changed the ground physics. I am seeing reports of ground physics changes, so maybe that'll be cool. Maybe we'll be able to play with that. I'm holding a sharp tongue on that one. I have to hold a sharp tongue on lots of stuff. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that video. I had that video where I was criticizing Farming Simulator 2025. I did a whole video where we watched their trailer video. Anyway, that video got reported, I guess, by enough people, even though I didn't say anything that I thought was... I know I didn't say anything. I specifically made sure not to say anything in that video that was, like, you know, brutal of any way, other than, like, you know, regular criticism. But it got reported enough times that it actually got taken down or demonetized or whatever happens to it. So I got a warning on it saying, oh, this video has been reported for this. So it's in appeal. I have it in appeal because there's actually nothing in that video that broke any law on YouTube. But I think what happens is when they get reported by enough people in a row, YouTube just automatically flags it and pulls the video until it gets reviewed. But I literally have like 7 appeals on videos all the way back to like when I did the FDR logging show. I still have some. I mean, I removed most of them because I was missing half of the series that got reported and removed for whatever reason. But I have appeals waiting. I think I have 6, maybe 7 appeals waiting now on videos that were taken down wrongfully, in my opinion. I think by bots and stuff, like the YouTube bots caught them and shut them down. So I have these appeals that are waiting, and they go all the way back to 2022, and they still haven't been reviewed by YouTube. So I'm just assuming those videos will never come out of the woodwork. I've emailed YouTube through my like AdSense account and all that stuff to try to contact them, and no, they're really hard to get a hold of. You'd have to like start a big, like, I don't know, a big movement to get their attention, and I just really don't care. So you really do got to be careful. We're living in a very sensitive time for people's feelings, so you really got to be careful what you share in your videos if you want to keep the opportunity of those videos live and alive, I guess. And if you do want to be ballsy and say stupid stuff, I guess you got to be way bigger than I am to be able to keep your content intact. But yeah, pretty weird stuff. So I kind of want to back this in again, but I think I'll just park it off to the side for now. Maybe we'll go forward and then we'll end up backing it out. That might suck too. So what I'll do, let's move this guy, because I would actually love to bring that wood. I don't think I can bring that wood down there. You know what we'll do is we'll bring it down and then we'll redeck it. So actually I'm just going to leave this processor right here. Screw it. We're going to bring that wood down and then we'll redeck it here where we just loaded, because that wasn't a terrible landing spot to load it. But I do want to get this thing out of the way here. So this is going to be a 2-part job. I could technically just winch it down with the winch on the front of this thing, but that's just... We got the skidder here. Let's take advantage, right? Take advantage. Skid it down. Have some fun. Make a party out of it. But yeah, interesting times. YouTube has become a very interesting place. But I'm so over all of the politics. You guys know my opinions on stuff, and I don't need to constantly regurgitate how I feel, I guess. I guess. Oops. Oh, geez. I can never remember these stupid controls. R. And then what do? Then we push B. RB. I gotta remember that. and then we go RB, 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 Arby's. That's a good remember it. If you've ever been to Arby's, let's go RB, RB. I think there's some even underneath this stuff. Oh yeah, there's 2 down there. RB. Is that it? Did we miss any? We got that one. Oh, there's one little one right in, or a big one right in there. RB. And then, why don't we just grab this stuff too? It doesn't really matter. We're going to repile it all, so it doesn't have to come down politely. I think if I start pulling that, it's going to pull this deck too. Well, we're going to find out. Oops, that is not my winch. This is my winch. There we go. So I'm going to get, whoop, easy now. We're going to get it close-ish here. See my tires retracting from all the weight. So what I would love to do, well, we're going to have to process it flat though. This is so frustrating because this landscape, you can't really adjust it. So I'm going to lay it down right next to the loader here, or the processor. We'll probably have to process it flat and then see what happens. Why, I think? Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get all this wood down. We're probably not going to have enough time for all of this in this video, but we'll be able to at least get the wood down, maybe process a little bit of it. Oops. Don't forget how to turn. So yeah, be careful what you say. Sensitivity. But yeah, hopefully I answered the question about burnout successfully. I'm sure everybody knows how that feels and how that all goes. Can I push this tree back? Let's find out. Are we at? Oh, we're probably too low. But what I could do, what if I RB'd it and then we pull it up nice and close? I want to get it higher. There you go, right about there. And then I can push it back. There we go. That's kind of what I want. And then we can hook all this up. So let's grab that winch again. I'm gonna go far back though. It kind of glitches out a little bit, but it's kind of fun. I haven't had that weird crash ever happen again. On that one episode we had it where it crashed. That's when we were winching and bunching ourselves up the hill. I don't know what the heck happened there. That was really weird. Okay. I kind of want these logs too, so maybe I'll pull ahead and I'll just grab it all. I think we may have to, sorry, I'm like half paying attention to what I'm doing here. We may have to pile it, even if we don't want to really pile it. I was kind of trying to pull it this way a bit. Let's just see what happens. Famous last words. Oh, too long. Doesn't like that. Well, one deck at a time, right? That's what we say. Kind of want to go this way a little bit. Oh, is that why I'm so messed up? Oh, there we go. Somehow I reversed my turning. That messed me up for a second. I thought I was having a really hard time driving, like my brain wasn't quite working there, but I had my reverse driving turned on, so I was so confused. There we go. That feels better. I'm like, why am I having such a hard time driving? Somebody drank a little too many Jack Daniels before getting in the skidder. All right. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to just drag that little skid up there down to this one. So let's go, we'll go real gentle here. B. RB, RB. Okay. So now we're going to get in. And we're just going to pull that. And it's probably going to push that one little tree right out of whack there, because that's usually what happens. Yep. Just as we predicted. So we can just give it the old flip here. This is kind of cheating. In real life, you'd have to cut it up and buck it up, but we're cheating a little bit, so. Shh, don't tell anybody. Don't tell a soul. Okay, so RB and RB. It should just be one button. No, that wouldn't make sense. What am I talking about? just assassinate it all. Okay, here we go. So we're going to cinch that up a bit, because this is going to be a bit of a tight pull here on this corner. We're going to drive over some of these sticks a little bit here. It's actually coming down quite nicely, though. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. So, I don't know. I don't think we're going to have to do too much piling. Let's go park this skid over here. We're almost at this this downhill. So, we finally cleaned up the uphill, where I showed you guys the uphill. Now we're going to switch over to downhill cutting. That's going to suck. So, that'll be fun. So, what I can do is we can use this loader to do a little bit of healthy trimming here. Or piling. Healthy piling. So, we're going to just give this all a big shove here. We got some little pieces sticking out this way and that way. And there we go. Okay. There we go. And I'm just going to get this loader right out of our way here, because this is where the processor is going to hang. So I'm going to drive it up over this little berm and try not to roll it. And we'll just park this right here and wait for our wood pile. Now this one, we're going to have to shove some of this stuff over to the side here. I just today was working on this exact processor head for FS25. I had to change. So in the new game, I'm actually working really heavily on doing the modeling to a much more fun extent. And what I mean by that is a cleaner extent. So right now, these models have a lot of vertices, it's called. So you have these vertices, polys, whatever. There's lots of different... I'm not a 3D modeler, so anybody who's listening to 3D modeling lingo, I do not know what the right correction name is. So I am no expert, and I don't pretend to be. That's why I hire people to do the 3D modeling side. I can do basic changes and stuff in 3D modeling, but... from what I gather from my years of playing this game, the more vertices, a guy used to call them polys, but vertices apparently is the correct terminology. The more vertices that are on the models, like the machines and the bodies, then the more your graphics card has to work to process the detail. And the more it has to work, the more chance you have of frame rate drops. Oops, I gotta turn my joy to key on here. So if you get these frame rate drops constantly, it's generally because you have a lot of machines purchased in the same area, and it's a lot of performance abuse. So with that performance abuse, I'm actually going to put one of these under my track again, because I hate this falling on the ground crap. And we're going to do a little step here. Whoop. Well, that didn't work out, did it? Sure, let's try that, see how it goes. It's actually a little more stable. Weird. So what I've gone and done is I've turned down the vertices on a lot of the models. So there's certain things that are changed on the new models you'll see in the new game. I don't want that butt end. So like for instance, these little holes on this machine. So you got these little holes, these little grate holes. Because they are 3D into the model, they actually take up a lot of vertices. They create a lot of vertices, I mean, and a lot of angles and a lot of graphics power that can be used elsewhere to give you better performance. So on the new models, most of those have been removed. I think there's some still on the top that I left just because they were higher detail, but the side ones are gone now. And honestly, you don't even really notice when you're looking at the model unless you're really looking for the detail, but... So I've done that with a whole bunch of different machines where I've actually replaced those holes on the machines where the grill grates were, and I've put them into like a 3D or a 2D image instead of a grate, which isn't as beautiful. I will 100% agree it's not as pretty, but it works really well at giving you guys more performance. And really, when you're logging, the more FPS and performance you can gain, the happier your life is going to be. So I'm really focused heavily on that moving into Farming Simulator 2025. I feel I have as long as the engine stays physics-wise pretty much, and I mean it's pretty much is going to be exactly the same, I have all of the physics right where I want them. I don't really have much more to mess with. I can probably copy over a lot of the physics to the new game on the models without having to worry about any kind of loss of performance there. So now that I have the performance, or the functionality performance where I want it, I want the visual performance and the actual gameplay performance to be better. So that's what I'm working on right now, moving into the new game. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of playing around. It's a lot of rebuilding and tearing and slathering out and changing, and I think it'll all be for the better, though. I did have a question from somebody asking about whether I was going to put... so you got these joysticks in the cab, these little tiny joysticks. Some people were asking if I was going to make it so those moved, like some of the other machines. I guess the in-game machines, those move. For me, it just feels weird to add movement to the joysticks. It's not hard to do. Like, it's actually really not that difficult to do. Because I have joysticks, and most people have joysticks actually mounted on your desk, it feels really awkward and weird for me, because I played a couple other simulators, I think it was Construction Simulator or something, where the joysticks were moving, and it just, I don't know, for me it feels weird because your joysticks are already moving in your hands, so to see them moving like a second time in front of you, I don't know, it just felt really weird. That's just a totally personal me thing, though. I'm sure some people love it, but I just think it's really weird. I mean, I could add it. I might add it in 25. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much interest people have in that. But we'll see. Personally, I don't really care, so I think it's kind of a nil point. But I mean, it is possible. It's not something that I can not rule out to be something we could do. Well, that was kind of a messed up drop there. Okay, we're actually kind of heading to the end of our video here, so I might just cut her here after we get this log finished. But yeah, we covered a few topics today, but we did talk about burnout and YouTube and technology and stuff. And we have just this last row of wood, and then our whole top part is cleaned up here. We got it all. And then now we're actually going to start down where the buncher is, way down in that hole down there. We're going to cut our way up. We'll probably cut our way down a little bit, but I want to cut out all of this stuff up here, and then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to winch it, lay it on this little cliffside. We're actually going to pull it up and process it flat. It's going to be really, really fun. All right, guys. Well, we'll leave it at that, and we will catch you on the next one. See ya.